We're hearing a lot of chatter from players these days. Hey, show more love for the goalies. Okay. And then there's the long poles. They say, hey, we can score too. Right. And then how about the defense? We love the defense. The D is great. No, really. We love seeing the defense do the dirty work, collect the turnover. We love seeing the great technique and the yard sale. We got you covered on LaxRatz. Buckle up. Hello, high school lacrosse fans, and welcome to week 7 of the LaxRatz, LaxWrap. Chopper here, the Chief is there. We have got a full docket for you. Chief, before we get into any plays, any videos, I want to know a little bit about what happened this week. We're in league play, a lot going on, right?
That's right, a lot going on. We have 2 weeks left in our schedule, but talk about this week. Biggest win coming from Palos Verdes over Foothill. Respect to PV. Never beat Foothill before, so a ton of respect there.
So, what are the implications for that? Because, you know, PV has had some years where they've gone into that Orange County LA championship thinking they could win, not really knowing they could win. What is a win, their first ever win over Foothill, what does that do for them, whether they face Foothill, Corona Del Mar? I mean, what does that do for their confidence?
Right, and that's exactly it. It's believing you can win in those games. Right now, LA has the stigma of like, we're gonna lose, as opposed to going into these games, we're gonna win. And hopefully this transfers over to Loyola, who's going down to Torrey Pines. I think they have the guys who can play with them. I think believing will be big, so Cubs, go get them, man.
All right. What else is going on for the week?
Huge win for Thousand Oaks, beating Westlake by 1. We'll talk about it more, but that puts them back on the map.
Okay. So you mentioned 2 weeks left in the season. Is it too early to be thinking about playoff seeds?
You know, I think if you're thinking about seedings, you're thinking about the wrong thing. You have to think about winning games, and then everything will take care of itself.
Okay, so because you got, I mean, right now it looks like PV and Loyola are going to go into the playoffs 1 and 2.
Right.
With a shake of the dice, and we'll talk about some of those other teams. So your advice would be just keep trying to win games, do the best you can, get ready for the postseason, and beat whoever they put in front of you, right?
Handle your business, take care of what you can control, let the results speak for themselves.
Well, speaking of results, we're going to be right back with some of those results, some of the video, because we're going to show you the top 10 teams. Welcome back. We're going to do top 10 teams. Chief, let's do 10 through 6 so we can run a little more video. Who do you got coming in at number 10 this week?
10, I got Sierra Canyon. Now, they don't have a lot of meat left on their schedule. I expect them to go 12-1. But beating teams by 15, by 19, I'm not sure if that gets your depth ready. You know, once you get to playoffs, you're going to need some depth. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. This is where I think Lax Power is wrong, because it rewards teams for winning big, but at the same time, you know, in a high school lacrosse game, you want to make sure other guys are getting in. So, you know, they're crushing teams right now. They'll be 12-1, sitting at the 10th spot. We'll see what happens in playoffs.
So, not a lot of meat in that diet, so we'll call them, they're on the vegan diet. We're going to find out if there's enough protein in that diet to get them into the playoffs, right?
That's right.
All right. Coming in at number 9, then you got Chaminade.
Chaminade, they went down to Loyola, and you know they're just not quite there yet. They got hammered by Loyola, but I don't think that's indicative of Chaminade. I think that's more indicative of Loyola being awesome. Chaminade does have a chance this week to redeem themselves against Harvard Westlake, and I think that's really a program maker. I think that they're judging themselves against Harvard Westlake.
So another top 5 team they're going to be playing, like you said, a chance to redeem themselves. Don't want to put too much pressure on those guys, but if they could beat Harvard Westlake, they're in that middle group, you know, it's probably 6-7 somewhere in there, right?
That's right. They'll shake it up if they can beat Harvard Westlake. I know they're looking forward to that one.
All right. Okay, so then coming in at number 8, you got Thousand Oaks.
Thousand Oaks, ain't no holler back, y'all. You got Thousand Oaks. They're hungry, they're young, they're coming off a 4-game losing streak. They beat Westlake. Says a lot about young kids figuring out how to win after going losing a bunch. So, you know, Jekyll and Hyde over there. I don't know what to expect.
How many games does Westlake have to lose before our producer gets off of them and quits picking them number 1?
We'll talk about Westlake. They're still ranked a little bit higher than Thousand Oaks because we know what they have.
All right, sounds good. All right, Chief, number 7, who you got?
Got the Chargers from Agora. You know, they handled business against Oaks Christian, but that was expected. Low-scoring game. It's kind of Agora's MO this season. But then getting doubled up on against Westlake, I think that loss is going to hurt them. Drops them a little bit. I love their defense. I love that kid Marty Shargle, hands free. That kid can rip. We'll watch him in the top 10s. But right now, number 7, Agora.
I'll just say it right now. We have been talking about Agura every week. They're hanging around. They're not getting over the top, but when we start talking about playoff teams, I want to be sure we spend some time on Agura.
They have experience against good teams. It will pay off in playoffs.
All right, coming in at number 6, the Chief has got Newberry Park.
Once again, another team that's tough to figure out, but they just hammered Oaks Christian, and Oaks Christian is much better. I love their defense, so to put up double digits against them, I'm pretty impressed. Offensively, we know they can score goals. We'd like to see how they are on the goal and like to see if they can do it consistently. They have some more meat. They got some protein on their schedule. We'll really see what the Panthers are about, in the next week or so.
No tofu for those guys. That's all meat. So I got to tell you, there's one glaring absence from this 6 through 10, and I got to tell you, it's the Panthers from Peninsula High School. Are you being too tough on your kids, or are you guys really outside that top 10?
I'm pretty hard on my kids. We'll just leave it at that. I want to win games. I'm not too concerned with the rankings. Season will work out. I think Peninsula's very good. I think we can compete with most of the teams up to Loyola and PV, who we did compete with, but I think we can beat most teams. So I'm pretty happy with where we're at.
If you stay quiet enough, maybe there'll be some grass that'll grow on that patchy tundra, and you guys could have a real field.
Home field advantage, the tundra, we love it.
That's our 10 through 6. We'll be back with the top 5 teams right after this. Okay, we are back with the top 5 teams now, LA area week 7, and it's my Mustangs galloping around, moving up a little bit, right?
That's right. They could be hitting their stride, pun and not pun intended. They're healthy. They have some kids that can play. Zane Crandall, Casey Bonner, and in goal, John Van Sickle. He absolutely was lights out against us. They stole the victory against us. They were down 1 with under a minute left. Van Sickle made a headsy play, started transition, they went down and scored. So finding a way to win that game away says a lot about Costa. So I think they're hitting their stride at the right time. I think they have guys that can play. Let's see what they can do to finishing up.
Yeah, my thought about them is I think if you take their top 8-10 players, they're as good as anybody's. Maybe not as deep as some of the next teams we're going to talk about, right?
That's right. Depth will be a key for them, but right now hitting their stride, definitely playing good lacrosse. Have won 5 or 6 straight.
Okay, now we get to Westlake for number 4, right? And they're sort of controversial because they look so good. You watch them on film and you're thinking, who can beat these guys? But they've taken a couple losses.
They have lost a couple recently. From the intel that I've gotten, though, they haven't been full strength in their losses, and the lack of full strength hasn't come from injury. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but not everybody's played in every game. One game the goalie wasn't there, one game Brett Riley didn't play. So that says a lot. With a team that doesn't have as much depth as a PV or a Loyola, you need every player out there. And Westlake hasn't been full strength.
Unless you're the San Antonio Spurs, coached by Greg Popovich, who will sit Duncan, sit all those guys in big games, but then come playoff time, he brings them all out and they're tough to beat.
Yep, talking to our producer, we know Westlake will be there when it counts.
And coming in at number 3,
Harvard Westlake.
They have moved up steadily during the year.
That's right. They're consistent. They beat who they have to beat. They compete with Loyola. Hats off to that program. I think they're happy where they're at. I think once we get down to playoffs, depth might be an issue, but a lot to be proud of for the Wolverines right now. Having a great year, beating some quality teams. Definitely a 3-spot worthy.
And for the top 2, it's been the same way all year, just going back and forth. This week, number 2 is Loyola Cubs.
So question, Chopper. If Cubs go down, they play Torrey Pines, they win by 2. Are they better than PV?
Well, I'm going to go with what you guys have always said, which is you got to win the game on the field. I was the one who said I don't think the Loyola PV game proved anything because, they were, 12 seconds away from winning that game. So I think it would cause you to rethink the top 2, but I think it would cause you to say, you know what, PV with a quality win over Foothill, other quality wins, but I think it makes for a great playoff seeding party.
That's right, it's going to be good. And when you say 12 seconds, I think you mean 2 seconds. 2 seconds away from 1 and 2. Sports is like that. That's the beauty of high school sports.
And that's the beauty of that rematch game. You just hope these teams meet in the playoffs so that they can really get it done on the field.
And if they do meet in the playoffs, please let the reins off. And we're watching that game. Let the dogs run. Keep the fans in mind. High school lax.
I think if you're Loyola, you're going to try to do just the opposite. You want to make that a boring game and you can slug it out and win it by one.
Yeah, I understand exactly where they're at.
But we'll both be there for that one, that's for sure. Okay, finally coming in at number one, no surprise after the season they've had and the week they've had, Palos Verdes Sea Kings.
All right, ton of respect for PV. I think this could be their best team that they've had, and I've watched them since '06. The difference is you watch them this week and you don't know who their best player is. Last year, Stanley Gilbertson, years before Zach Fixon. Right now, each game emerges a different player. So they are deep, they are good, they are consistent. I don't know, I say they're consistent, but I don't know if they put 4 quarters together yet. So a team of that level needs to play 4 solid quarters. I watched them play Foothill. Their third quarter was terrible. So they start turning the ball over and they play frantically. They are better than a lot of teams if they can just keep their composure and pound teams.
As we mentioned, beating Foothill is huge. We've talked about their ball movement all year, and the beauty about their ball movement is whoever's hands it lands in, that guy's a threat. So it's not just guys moving it through to the score, they can all score.
Respect them all, they're all good. Their defense is all over the place and they're anchored by a solid goalie. So PV, one spot, they earned it. Pressure's on you, Sea Kings.
We're going to see a couple of their great plays against Foothill when we get to the top 10 plays.
Do it. Yep.
We'll be right back. Okay, we are back with this week's top 10 plays, and I got to tell you something, Chief. We've seen some great plays, but I'm really high about the group we've got this week. Some of you are sending your plays in, and you're sending your stories in with it, which is great. It gives us more to talk about. But this week's top 10 is special. Let's let her rip. Check out the long bomb. That's Roethlisberger to Antonio Brown.
Touchdown.
There you go. And you talk about, there's your finish for you right there. Then you talk about clearing passes. Here's another long one.
Field up, eyes outfield. I like it.
And of course, there's that man, Jared Jones.
How many goals does this kid have this season?
It's easily significant double digits. PV Foothill again. That was a great game.
Roll away from pressure. That's Division I. Hands free. Snipe. Top cheddar.
PD Henkhouse.
Marquette bound.
Now to the patchy tundra of Peninsula High School.
Another Division I product here.
Chief, who is this guy?
I don't know. Why would someone invert a long stick? Oh,
that's you. This is Jacob Madison, Westlake.
The backhand.
Check it out again. Speaking of backhands, we've got a lot of those this week. You guys have been watching a lot of box lacrosse, I think. Here's some more backhand magic from X. The sweet pass.
Oh, low eye.
The finish. I don't think Foothill's seen that too much. Here's my boy, Filthy Thompson with the backhand.
Filling it up.
Couldn't even get a complete follow-through on that one. He's strong.
Back to the tundra.
The tundra. This guy absolutely toys with these two
Casey
defenders.
Bonner, 1-2, and I'm gone. Backhand, why not?
They are changing the game with these backhand shots.
Okay, on the celly.
Okay, Viewpoint versus Brentwood. Mac McLean, freshman attack. Watch him make himself available.
Oh, that's so East Coast.
And behind the back.
That kid's just a rook, just a freshman.
4-year-old back in Connecticut, that's when he started. And number 1, Agura versus Oaks Christian. This kid, these first 2 goals look identical. So there's going to be 6 of these bad boys.
Hands free, this kid is good.
And there's the snowboard stance.
What up, ninja?
He's not done.
Man, someone's got to get on his hands.
This looks exactly the same. This kid is money.
Changing places, too.
Long pass. What do you like better, the catch or the finish?
I don't know. Get the ball to 10, clearly. Marty Shargle, nicely done. Curtsy.
So that is our top 10, featuring number 10 for Agora, right?
That's right. That kid's playing well this year.
Okay, so that is it for this week's top 10 plays. We got the top 10 teams in the can. I just want to bug you about playoff seedings one more time. The Panthers are outside the top 8. Who do you guys have this week? What's going to go on to get you back in the top 10?
We play Redondo, and then we play Costa. Looking forward to playing Costa on their turf. Always a great game. Once again, you're not going to hear me talk about seedings or standings. You're going to hear me talk about Redondo and Costa because that's the business we can handle.
And you're showing them respect.
That's
I know
right.
you show Costa a lot of respect. Any other big games this week we should be talking about?
In the Mission League, I believe there's big games, and up north, I got to check the schedule right now. It's beach day. It's 90 degrees out.
So that's a perfect wrap up. He's the chief. I'm Chopper. It's 90 out, and we are going to wrap it up to take the wagons to the beach.
Let's go.
See you next week.